Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I have yet another movie review, so I hope you find this one interesting. This movie is a thriller from South Korea, Korean language English subs, released in the year 2014, directed by Seon-hoon Kim, and this film is called A Hard Day. So A Hard Day is about this corrupt police officer. He has been under investigation with a few of his other colleagues for corruption claims, so he's very stressed with his life. So one night he's had a little bit to drink, he's going through this highway and he accidentally runs over this guy and kills him. So instead of reporting the crime, reporting the incident, he puts the body in the trunk of his car and he takes off. So he actually wants to dispose of the body himself, and hopefully no one around him will know about it. So he thinks that that's the end of the issue, but he's having a lot of problems because he's obsessed and paranoid that people know about it. Then all of a sudden his paranoia is about to be elevated to an even higher status when he receives a phone call from a mysterious man who claims to be a witness to this event. So this guy tells this main character that he has to do what he tells him, otherwise he's going to report the crime and that he's going to be thrown in jail. So this guy doesn't want this, and so he's willing to do everything in order to keep this under wraps. But then when things are starting to get way out of control, he has no choice but to try and get to the identity of this caller in order to try and resolve the issue before his life is ruined. So whether or not he can do that, something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on A Hard Day. I didn't know really what to expect with this film, and I wasn't expecting it to be a great South Korean film, is because with South Korean cinema, when they're actually advertised a lot, when a lot of people are talking about them, usually that is an indication that it's going to be very good. But there are a few South Korean films that aren't very good, and they aren't talked about, and they aren't advertised very well for a very good reason. Is it because they're very lackluster, they're not very memorable, and so it doesn't elevate itself to the point of the typical South Korean standards. So coming into A Hard Day, because I'd never really heard about it, I stumbled upon this by accident. I didn't have the expectation levels that it was going to be up there with The Chaser, I Saw the Devil, all those great movies that have made South Korean cinema what it is. But after watching Hard Day, I was very surprised by what I got, because I thought this is an incredibly entertaining film and a very, very skillful film, because it allows the viewer to really enjoy what's going on. Now, some thrillers out there are very complex, and they're complex because they want to keep the viewer's interest. And because they're so complex, you're not really enjoying what's going on, because you're scratching your head thinking, trying to piece together the clues, but then the movie doesn't really, it doesn't wait for you, and it continues to go on, and you always feel like you're one step behind, and that you're trying to sort out the situation without actually absorbing everything that's going in and experiencing everything. So with A Hard Day, it is very complex, but it's simplistic enough to allow the viewer to keep up. The movie is going along at a very brisk pace, and there are situations that are spiraling out of control. There are characters that are very complex, and they are unraveling very rewardingly, but it's not complex. It's not so complex. It's not complex to the point where you are one step behind and that you're trying to piece together everything and you feel like you're playing catch up throughout the entire duration. I thought this movie does a great job at painting these very complex characters, as I said, but the situation never gets overshadowed by these complications. I thought the situation, it actually felt like there was a very strong plan, and that these characters were being built around the synopsis, being built around this tale of corruption, around the tale of blackmail and the deception and trying to keep things under wraps. I thought that it did it very well, and it blended the characters in, and it actually allowed the characters to unravel along with the synopsis and along with the story. So that's what I loved about A Hard Day so much, is that I had incredible fun with this film. It was incredibly entertaining, and it was very, very thrilling. There were a few scenes in this film where it was unbearable. I was on the edge of my seat saying, no, you're going to get caught, you're going to get caught. Then he doesn't get caught. And then there's another scene, there's another situation, you think to yourself, you're going to get caught, you're going to get caught. No, you're not. And it plays with your emotions, it plays with your heart. Your heartbeat's starting to go boom, 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 boom. And the director knows this, and the director is doing it to a very, very high level. And at the end of the film, you think to yourself, wow, I really, really enjoyed this film. This was what a thriller should be. It was absolutely thrilling. And a lot of thrillers don't get that, because, as I said, they complex the issue to the point where you don't really understand, and you're trying to piece together and you're trying to play catch-up instead of absorbing the atmosphere, absorbing the thrilling content. And A Hard Day does that very, very well. I thought the cinematography was excellent. I thought the characters were very funny. They have a lot of baggage with them, and I thought that when the characters twist and turn and the situation twists and turns, you get a new perception of this specific character. So, for example, the main character is this cop. He's very corrupt. You think he's not very likable, but you see that he's a family man. Then you see this main villain who you think, okay, this guy's really bad, but he's doing it for a reason. And there's complex issues that makes first impressions that don't last. And so that is with the characters. But as I said, the storyline is simplistic enough. You have seen this story done, you've seen this story done before. but because the characters are so interesting and the characters bring so much to the front, you actually feel that you're watching something very unique. There is a little bit of action to the film, there's a little bit of violence, but it really doesn't rely on the action. It relies on the situation, it relies on the suspense, and as I said, it does that very, very, very well. I thought the runtime, there were a few problems I had with the runtime that I'll go into a little bit later, but from the first, say, 3/4 of this film was just fantastic. The tension, as I said, there's new situations that present themselves that need to be resolved, and you don't know if it's going to be resolved, but it's just to the point where you feel like you can't take anymore. And so Seon-Hoon Kim understands what it is to really play with the audience. So my only problems with this film was the fact that I think that towards the last quarter of the movie, I thought it outstayed its welcome a little bit. It really didn't know how to finish itself. And I thought to myself, just end it here and it'll be perfect. But it keeps going on and on and on. And then right at the end, it starts to get a little bit generic. You start to think, okay, I know where this is going to go. I know what's going to happen. I know what this character is going to do. And that predictability is not present in the first 3/4. So that's my only problem with it, is that it didn't really know how to finish itself. But overall, I would highly recommend this film to anybody who likes South Korean thrillers. It is a movie that's not really talked about that much, but it is a movie I would highly recommend you go out there and see. So overall, for a hard day, going to give it 4 stars. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.